Hello and welcome back to the first video podcast of the Midweek Wind Down. I'm your host, James Johnston.
And I'm Joel Val.
And this week we've got James Thiara.
Hi, that's me.
Hello. Welcome to the show.
So this week is all about movies. And being media students, this should be very interesting. You're never going to see whether we're good media students or very, very poor ones. And
yeah, we brought James on this week because, obviously as a person, he's got knowledge of film. But I just thought it would work well we've got all three of us sort of started drama, doing acting.
that's theatre.
And now by the end of third year, Joel, you're just mainly acting. That's all you do. I still do a bit of acting, but I've sort of editor's really been my main one now. Yeah. Whereas James, you're director now, aren't you?
I completely lost the bug for acting.
But you're also you're a phenomenal interviewer and.
Yeah, well, I still pay attention to I kind of left acting and went more into presenting. I realized after a while that my favorite part of acting was all really kind of just like the presence and being on stage.
You basically realized your favorite character to play was you.
And that's the thing. I would always try and put a bit of myself into my characters, but then I was always being told that I needed to lose who I was and become the character, and it was something that I wasn't really prepared to do because I love myself a bit. So I was like, no, forget it then. I just won't play characters. I'll just play a heightened version of myself.
Fair enough.
By presenting instead.
Just before we get into the actual topics that we've got written down, there was some heartbreaking news today.
Oh, I think I know what this is going to
be. We
may
just see James Johnson cry on camera.
I saw this.
Oreo the raccoon.
Whoa, it's Mr. Oreo.
Mr. Oreo. It's cut off on here. Mr. Oreo the raccoon, famous for being the real-life model of Rocket from Guardians of the Galaxy, has died at the age of 10.
R.I.P.
10?
This one goes out to Mr. Oreo. This is dedicated to you.
Question, though. How long a raccoon's supposed to live? Is 10 an average?
Not a clue.
Shall I Google it?
Yeah, sure.
Go on, give it a Google. While you're saying that, we'll throw out, our first talking point. It's a very generic one. James, favourite film of all time?
Right. Can I say two? Or
yeah, go for it.
No, one? Of all time, The Lion King.
We're chilled, we're casual here.
I'd say of all time, it's going to be The Lion King. I was a Disney baby, and that never left me. But when I got into directing more and started to find things more artistically beautiful, Call Me By Your Name is now my current.
I've not seen that one yet.
Film for
still not got around to seeing that.
You've got to. If you're into artistic films. And like I say, I want to get into directing. So watching directors do their job very well, it's a good payoff. So
I feel like you'll probably get that with a lot of media students and like a lot of people on our course. You say, "What's your favorite film?" And I know I always say this. You have two. You've got your favorite one that's just you enjoy, you like to just throw on a rainy day, and then the one that you kind of appreciate the most.
Yeah, the passive one, the narrative-driven one, and then the more like this is visually amazing. Like La La Land's up there as well. Call Me By Your Name's just a bit better, but La La Land for its artistic, like Damien Chazelle as the director, his artistic vision and the way that he executes it, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah. Just to butt in, apparently Mr. Oreo was a fucking warrior because it says on Google right now that a raccoon's lifespan is 2 to 3 years.
Oh my God.
Whoa. And this guy lived for 10.
That's incredible.
What a unit.
Life, that diet of cocaine and that's about it.
He's definitely got more money than all three of us put together.
That's good. I'm assuming they don't pay the animals. So do the trainers get all the money for that?
Question.
That is a great question.
Anyone at home who can tell us who gets paid when there's animal actors? Let us know in the comments below.
Because I'll definitely teach my goldfish how to do somersaults if it's going to give me some money.
I wonder how much money Airbud
Can
made.
you really teach a goldfish to do somersault? Haven't they got the brain span that will last a lap round the bowl?
Where's the ambition there, though? If I can do it, then there's going to be money in it.
If you can do it, then fair play. Do you reckon Mr. Oreo got credited?
That's a good point, actually.
They do credit animals in films.
Yeah.
They do.
But obviously it's like the look is based on him, but he's not in the actual film.
But they would credit stunt doubles and
but they're in the film. You see them on camera.
Yeah, but they're supposed to be Liam Neeson or they're supposed to be they're supposed to be the other actor.
Yeah, but they are still in the shot, if you get what I mean. Whereas this is just they saw
They
this
used his
raccoon and thought,
likeness. They didn't actually put him in the film.
Maybe he's a special thanks.
That would
I hope
probably-
so.
It's like when I do my credits for the films that I've done, like the equipment store that I get equipment from have done nothing really apart from just let me take out equipment. You don't see them in the
Are we
film.
supposed to put special thanks to them?
Yeah,
I've not denying any
Well,
of my films.
it's good practice. I don't think it's like you're supposed to or you shouldn't.
If we don't see an in memory of Mr. Oreo on the next Guardians, I'm gonna kick off.
I'm just going to throw out there, Joel. I feel like we're more likely to get an in memory of Stan Lee before we get an in memory of Mr. Oreo.
That's what
I
the
mean-
problems are with this world.
Yeah. Why is he more important than Mr. Oreo? Why is one life worth more than the other?
Because he's human.
Controversy.
I had this whole
That is
conversation
like-
last night. you know.
Speciesism, that is. So
Right, 1 minute. So what did you say? Favourite film?
Yeah, favourite film.
See, that's.
Hang on, I think I know a couple of yours.
I haven't got just one. I've got quite a few.
I know that Stand By Me is going to be up there.
Oh, what a film! Like Stand by Me, The Goonies, just the films from that era, and then Forrest Gump. Oh, what a film! And then most recently, probably Hacksaw Ridge.
Hacksaw Ridge annoyed me. Not because it was bad, the actual film annoyed me. It was the fact that you'd gone on so much like, it's great, it's such a great film.
That you wanted to hate it, but
Yeah,
you couldn't.
I wanted it to be bad and it wasn't. It was actually really good.
It is.
I
Have you
haven't
seen it?
Have you not?
Mate.
I think it was on Netflix at one point. I don't know if it
Yeah,
still
it
is.
was. I know. I think because it. Do you
Films
know?
come on and off Netflix all the time.
Well,
it really winds
it was
me up.
Oscar. It was Oscar season. Oscar season of last year, and Hacksaw Ridge was obviously up for Oscars the year before. So it was like because it was Oscar season. I thought,
is that the
we'll put
one
some-
with
Andrew Garfield.
Yeah.
Mate, so good. It's got Vince Vaughn in it as well. Vince
that
Vaughn
the
plays
small-
like a really serious character.
He's in like Dodgeball, Wedding Crashers. Oh, this keeps happening.
No.
else is he in?
You'd definitely recognize
Yeah, I
him.
think it's one of those where it's like you recognise the
Did you ever
face,
watch
but-
Four Christmases?
No.
Yeah, it was crap.
Yeah, here I am, a media student. You can throw films at me, and if it's not anything from the Disney board, like
You say that
I'm going to
though,
be the
like-
exact same. As soon as we start talking about Oscars, I'm just going to have to take a seat back.
This is
yeah,
what I mean,
that's
no
where
clue.
my specialty will start to come back in.
This
a
is when
little
you
bit,
could
I
just
think.
host the show. mate. We'll do a 10-minute slot on Oscars, and we will sit in silence, and you can.
No, but I get that a lot. Where
Crack
someone's
on.
like, "Have you seen this film?" It's like it's a classic or it's a really new, great one. I'm like, no, I've never got round to it.
I hadn't watched Love Actually until we all sat down and watched it a couple months back now.
Love Actually. I watched it for the first time. I think it was last Christmas, and then I've watched it quite a few times since then.
Yeah, mate.
It's
I
so
watch
good.
it every year with my family. It's
my
great.
problem is though, because you was just saying like that film Hacksaw Ridge was on Netflix. My problem is I don't ever really find the time that I can commit to sitting down and watching a 2 to 3 hour film.
I don't really watch films on Netflix.
No,
Yeah.
because I'd rather watch. Well, the thing is, if I'm passively watching something, I want to put something on that I don't need to pay much attention to. But it's like I'm trying to get through you at the moment. But it's
Yeah.
something that
How many episodes we watched? Like 4.
yeah, I'm literally 4 episodes in. But it's
Yeah.
something that I want to sit down, not have my phone on me, not be distracted by anything,
Yeah.
and just watch it because you don't want to miss the finer details. And as an aspiring filmmaker myself, I find it quite insulting when you're watching something with somebody else and they're just like this the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's like I've done it before. I literally did it the other week with one of the people we live with, where I paused it and it's like, tell me what just happened, and they couldn't. So I took
Like
their
a
phone
teacher.
off them and put it to the side, and it's like, watch this, because they're making me watch you with them, and I'm not allowed to go any
Yeah, but
further in it with them.
When you make a scene and stop and say what just happened, and they absolutely nail it and tell you word for word what happened, you just have to sit there and go.
You look like a dick.
I'd be
Fair
like,
enough,
fair
fair
enough, but when that eventually happens, fair enough, but it's never
not
happened
it's not
so
happened
far
yet.
because people are too involved in what's going on the phone, and
Very
it's just
true.
like I say, I just find it a bit insulting for me personally. Like, I wouldn't want to spend so long crafting a film or a TV show together for somebody to just passively watch it if there's like a lot of subtext that I want to involve in it, or a lot of relationships or like subtext that I want to explore. So
No, I get that. Like, I feel like that's one thing that I got very early on in our degree was suddenly making films and watching them. You get an appreciation for film, like massively. And it's like you realize how much work goes into it. So you definitely respect films a lot more. What you were saying about like you don't want to sit down and watch, like if you're going to spend 2 to 3 hours. Have you guys heard the at this moment running time for Avengers 4?
apparently they're thinking of putting an interval in it. That's all
They
I've
have said
heard.
like about having to take toilet breaks. Apparently it's at 3 hours at the moment.
Wow.
And it's not even, they've not finished
It sounds like that's what it's going to be.
Yeah, but right.
So was Titanic, though.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I know you especially. You won't sit like you don't really sit through like Tarantino films.
No.
Because they're like 2.5 to 3 hours. Whereas for me, if the film grabs me enough, like that won't feel like 3 hours. Like, what is it? Wolf of Wall Street. I've watched well over 10 times, and that's what 2.5 near 3 hours.
It's a long one.
And not once have I even had to get up to go to the toilet or anything like midway through, just because.
No, but I've always said like
time.
with films, it's how long they are, and I've realised recently that's not wrong. It's how well paced they are. A film can be like 3 hours long, but if it's well paced, you don't notice. Whereas if a film can be an hour and a half or 2 hours long, but if it's not paced well, you will just turn off and switch off.
Like, well, the new Star Wars films, they were hefty. Weren't they?
Yeah.
They were quite long, but like even with them, never once like I didn't know the running time until I'd watched the film, and then when I was told, I was surprised. I was like, well, it didn't feel like that long, like just because because obviously something's always happening, like quite intense, especially in the new ones. But maybe it's the visuals as well, like because it is so in your face. Star Wars, like
I don't think Avengers 4 will feel long purely because none of like Avengers Infinity War didn't feel long.
How many times do you reckon you'll cry?
I almost cried in Infinity War.
Yeah, I know. I sat next to you,
I was a broken man at the end of that.
Which part did you almost cry?
Wait,
from the start to the end.
Yeah, I was just blown away by it.
Like, it's going.
No, it was I mean, the big one that got me was when like Thanos like ripped Iron Man's dagger off and stabbed him, and it was the way that all the music cut out. And running up to the film, I'd be like, "Yep, Iron Man's gonna die. Yep, confirmed." And literally in that moment, the music cut out. I was like, "Oh my god, this is it. I'm not ready for this." Literally, so that got me a bit. And then obviously, like the same moment that got everyone else was when Spider-Man turned to dust. It's like, Mr. Stark, I don't want to go. It's like,
yeah, because wasn't it something? It was like it wasn't like really. It was improvised, but obviously on the script it said, what did it say? Just ad lib.
I was gonna say, like they'll have said, "This is your bit where you dust. Say what you want.
This is where you dust.
This is where you dust."
And he nailed it, didn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like that because I feel like it paid homage to his personal representation.
Yeah, Tom Holland has been nailing the role of Spider-Man ever since he stepped on.
Here's a question, right? The actors that have played Spider-Man, so is it Tobey Maguire?
Yeah, Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield,
and
Tom Holland.
Best to worst.
In reverse order of.
So we'll go worst to best. So mine would be Tobey Maguire was the worst.
Yep.
Didn't really enjoy them films. Loved the first Amazing Spider-Man. I thought Garfield nailed it. The only problem with Garfield is that he didn't look like a teenager to me.
Yeah.
I felt like he looked older.
I mean, he looked more like a teenager than Tobey Maguire, yeah.
Yeah, but I just didn't like the Tobey Maguire films anyway. Yeah. I think that's the one downside for Andrew Garfield was the fact that he didn't look the age they wanted him. And then obviously Tom Holland has absolutely nailed it.
Tom Holland has lifted Spider-Man off the page of the comic and put him on the big screen.
Like his cameo in Civil War when he comes in for the actual fight was awesome. Like what an entrance that was.
Like the bit that like really got me on board with him was obviously him in the airport scene was incredible, but it was, I mean, I freaked out as soon as it came up saying Queens. I was like, oh my god. Is it Queen? Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was that whole scene of him and Tony in his bedroom, like that whole bit. I was like, you are Peter Parker. Like he proper smashed it. Like really got the character. But
just as like a little thing, if everyone can't already tell, James is huge on Marvel.
Big on Marvel. and big on Spider-Man. He's my favorite Marvel character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
I'd say the Hulk is probably mine.
Really?
But, yeah, from like since Thingy started playing, but
Mark Ruffalo.
But not Mark Ruffalo when he's Bruce Banner.
Yeah, just his Hulk.
His Hulk.
He was good. He was fucking good in.
And Thor since Ragnarok.
I was just about to say in Ragnarok.
Incredible.
Yeah. But like you, I really like the first Amazing Spider-Man because I think it did a really nice thing of the Tobey Maguire ones. Just kind of were like, we're doing our version of Spider-Man. It's what we want to do with him. And I felt Andrew Garfield's Amazing Spider-Man was a really nice kind of. If Spider-Man were in the real world, this is what he might look like, particularly the suit in the first one. I felt that was a really kind of nice way of doing it. And yeah, I love the Tobey Maguire films at the time. And I think when everyone now is saying like, oh, they're the best, it's nostalgia. I tried to go back and rewatch the first one, switched it off. Like I just couldn't get through it. Like, where do you stand on this?
I would probably agree with the order that you said, Joel.
Yeah.
I think I personally preferred the Tobey Maguire films to the Andrew Garfield films.
Really?
But I think that's because those are the films that I grew up with, and there's
I was gonna
there's
say.
a piece of nostalgia which is thrown in there for me, and also like growing up and
I just spilled my beer all down myself.
didn't really know Tobey Maguire, but like Kirsten Dunst has a bit of a reputation for herself at that point, and then there's that very, very iconic scene where he's hanging upside down and she kisses him, and it's like. And then I also like James Franco as well, and Spider-Man 3. Everybody hates. Everybody.
Is that the scene when he's?
Yep, I know what you're saying. Yeah.
The one where his bad Spider-Man is like.
Oh my god.
We went to college with a lad who was very sort of like not classically trained, but he was that kind of actor, really good in that, and that's his favourite scene in any film. And we're like, why? And he went, it's just funny, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's like people who turn around, like when you ask certain people, like, what's your favourite film? And there are so many people who are genuine, like, big fans of The Room.
As in
Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, Tommy Wiseau. Like, The Room. Like, because that may very well be the worst film.
It's a meme of a film
ever made. Yeah, but then because it's so bad, people like it. Like, people genuinely enjoy watching it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you've even got, like, societies that you can get at universities as well, where they watch all of these terribly made films, which it is that whole thing of they are so bad that people start off by ironically enjoying them. It's kind of just like your mannerisms and stuff where some people call each other like bro to be ironic, but then it just becomes a piece of their vocabulary and they're always just saying it anyway.
Way too much. You hear someone say something, you're like,
that was YOLO for me. Yeah. Like you all started like, haha, YOLO, it's funny, and then it became unironic.
Yeah, and then it just literally just becomes a part of your normal vocabulary, and it is that sense of you watch a film so much, or you watch a film and it's like so bad that you ironically enjoy it, but then you start to quote it a lot more. And I mean, it's like Vines. Everyone knows that Vines are just awful, but they are such at the same time a beautiful art form.
Vine oh my god, I live for them. Like, especially in third year. I don't know what happened. Right, I wasn't even that big into Vine when it was big itself, and then third year, maybe because I was lonely. No.
Oh, wow.
no. But what is it? Yeah. So like the first.
You're just a Vine hipster. You didn't like it when it was cool, but now everyone's forgotten about it. You're all into it.
Just use Vines to cure your depression, as the YouTube line would have been.
See, they're the best ones as well.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole thing about that, because I can completely jump on board with that, is nobody cared about it when it was alive, but when Vine died, all these YouTube compilations of Vines were being made, and that is when people really started to love Vine again. I mean, just going to throw it out there, I did a online video culture module at university, and we had to talk about, well, obviously online videos, so like YouTube and Vine and things like that, and just like the platforms that they're on. And I had to do a whole, we didn't do essays, we did like vlogs, because again, it was, so I had to basically do like a 5-minute vlog, which I put unlisted on YouTube just so my tutor could see it, but it was about the death of Vine and how Vine needed to die for the platform to be as popular as it is today. Like, it needed to be over because now it's vintage and everybody's like, oh, I want it back.
Yeah. Well, if you go through all them Vine compilations now, the ones that have, like the ones that you said, like all the weird like titles, the ones that have got like 10 million views each, you won't find any Vines from people like King Batch or Jerry Perpdrank or Logan Paul who were big on it at the time. It's all the ones who were not very big, and people have gone through and found them all and gone like, well, these weren't found in time. These were big right at the very end when it was dying. No one's really watching anymore. Made a compilation of it, and they are. Some of them.
Most of the Vine stars' Vines aren't funny because they're like, haha, they're comedy videos that they've set and filled up. The best ones are the stuff where I think someone just happened to be filming and they caught something just brilliant, or just someone being an idiot that was just like, that's brilliant.
Yeah. But everybody loves amateur things because they feel more genuine.
Yeah.
It's just like, I absolutely love, like, I hate TikTok as an idea, but I love it when somebody puts like a 6 or 7.
It's just a rebuild of Vine.
It's just, I kind of prefer those like 6 or 7 second clips of just random nonsense happening that people put on Twitter with a really relatable caption, because TikTok it's already set up that you've got to like do it to this tune or mimic these words that someone else has already said. So they've already set you up to make it, and nothing feels spontaneous because everything feels pre-planned. Whereas these videos, like it's the one that I just showed you before we started filming, of like a goose walking around the house with a party hat on, and the caption is me trying to find my mum just so I can bother her for no reason. Like, give me a very relatable caption to a video which is already quite stupid, and like, but also makes sense with what the caption's saying. And I find that so much funnier because it feels very spontaneous and very amateur in comparison to something like TikTok, which is asking you to be funny. Because when it's like when you're trying to be funny, it's these YouTubers which make series out of like funny concepts. When you're trying to make me get on board with the fact that you're going to be funny every single week with the same topic, sometimes you can lose it. That's why stand-up's so popular, because it always feels, I know it's scripted, but it always feels like it's just
they're the best comics that make it. They kind of give the audience the feel of, I've just got up on stage and I'm chatting with you, but it's all planned, it's all rehearsed. But,
yeah, well, it's one of the best comedians are the ones that can write a good joke, but then, like I said, I went and watched Jimmy Carr, and before we got in, there was a big screen up, but it basically said, heckle him. Like, whenever you get the chance, if you want to shout somebody, shout at him. So he had all this scripted routine, but because he knows how good he can riff off other people and how quick he can respond, he wanted everyone to shout stuff at him. And, like, I think they're the best. Like, say, I'm not trying to say we're the best podcast, but we come in with like 10 talking points each week. This is only the second one, it's not the second week, but you know,
both weeks
we've come in with 10 talking points each, and I think last week we did about 2 each.
Yeah.
Just because once you get into one, like right now we're talking about Vine and we're talking about our own podcast, and this week is dedicated to film.
I was about to say it's been a great film podcast so far, hasn't it?
Very, very professional here, but
I mean, Vines are films. They're just shorter films.
Ooh.
Saving us there, James. Nice one.
But
we've just moved.
Yeah, speaking of that, one
different platform. Sorry.
One talking point we had was 5 Desert Island films.
Whoa, we've not heard your favourite film yet.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Although I can probably guess. Avengers: Infinity War.
Well, don't get me wrong, I love Infinity War. I've watched it quite a few times, but I think like the first Avengers, just because like with your Lion King, it'll always be special to me because it was that first one, and like
just that shot.
It started it up,
around them all.
Infinity War didn't really have that because they were never really all.
Well, no, in the trailer, it had the video of them all running.
Yeah, but I think we're going to see that in Endgame.
In this one, yeah.
It's either we'll see it in Endgame or it was literally just created to throw off the fact that the Hulk wasn't in there.
I was going to say, yeah, because that's the one thing we realised right then. We were like, there was no running scene because the Hulk was only in it properly for the first 10 minutes and he got twatted by Thanos.
Yeah.
And didn't want to come back out again.
Like, no.
Yeah.
That's my Hulk impression.
What's your great impression? Go on, what's your favourite film?
Either like the first Avengers or maybe Hot Fuzz. I really like Hot Fuzz.
Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah. Like the whole trilogy is a thing, but like Edgar Wright's my favourite director.
Yeah.
I loved what he's done in them, and watching the director's commentaries on Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, you realise just how much you miss with it. Like there's so many more clever things and references to each other and self-referential things. Like they're just really well-crafted films.
Well,
I've got a massive appreciation for now.
I think we both came in with the same talking point. So I imagine the Cornetto trilogy is going to come up. Well, we might as well do it now, to be fair. Now that we're on it.
Yeah.
Favourite film series or franchise of like films?
So are we saying series or are we saying franchise?
Either or.
Right, okay. Because if we're going franchise, the MCU, like purely because there isn't a single bad. Like there are some less great films in there, but I don't think there's a bad film in there.
I'm still yet to watch The Incredible Hulk, and that's just because it wasn't.
It's not awful.
Yeah, it's not the Hulk that because I'd watched the others, and then I found out, okay, so that Hulk's a part of the MCU. And I was like, but it's not the Hulk that I really like. No. I don't really want to watch it. And
he's not my Hulk.
He's not my Hulk. He's that Hulk. He's not my Hulk.
The fight scenes in that are really good.
Are they?
And it's got one of my I should have more artistic favorite shots. But there's a shot in that where a human who's like been injected with this steroid stuff goes up and is face to face with the Hulk and like starts giving him shit. He's like, "Yeah, what you can do?" And the Hulk just lifts one foot and boots at him, and it cuts away and then cuts back to his body, just ragdolling across the floor and then hits a tree. And just a satisfying like ragdoll. I just love that. It's one of my like favorite moments in cinema.
What about when the Hulk ragdolls Loki?
No, trust this is this is like something else. It's incredible.
It's on another level.
Yeah. Yeah, if we're talking franchise, probably the MCU.
As a franchise, man.
Yeah, there's nothing like it though. Like, this is the thing.
Yeah.
They've really just broken the mold. But if we're talking straight series, I think I'd be tempted to say Harry Potter, just because of, like you were saying with Disney earlier.
Trilogy. I thought you go for that.
But again, they're not there. They're not like sequels, are they?
Yeah, very true.
If we're talking straight films that follow on like that, probably Harry Potter, because they are great films,
don't
and the
even link
nostalgia
between
in them is incredible.
And it's about this world which is being created. I feel like when you're going with a franchise or a series, it's constantly dipping back into the world, and I think that's what's very important.
What about you? What's your favourite film, series or franchise?
I don't know, because I was torn, because I really like Harry Potter. I love the Hobbit.
I didn't know you were that
films.
into Harry Potter.
No, I like Harry Potter. I've seen them all a few times.
Yeah.
Like,
My dad's never seen one all the way through.
I know a few people haven't seen Harry Potter all the way
I
through.
find that mental that
That's me
anyone
with
in this
Star
day and
Wars.
age.
No offense.
You've never seen Star Wars.
I've watched the.
Get out.
I've not
First
seen
one.
all the originals. I've not seen them all.
Yeah.
All the new ones, loved them all.
Yeah, they're really.
Seen them all.
Really
I saw,
like the
I
new
saw them
ones.
all multiple times in the cinema.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine. Yeah, I liked Harry Potter. Big fan of the Jump Street, the 2 Jump Street films, 21, 22 Jump Street. But then I think for ones that I've watched multiple times, sometimes even like twice in a day, I'd probably say the Hangover trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Really, really enjoyed the Hangover trilogy. Have you seen them all?
No.
You've not
But I
seen
know
have
that
you not?
it's the same plot, kind of like rehashed in
the
sequel.
first two kind of. There wasn't even a hangover
There's
in
not
the
a
third
Hangover
one.
in the third one.
It's just revisiting these characters that you love.
See that, but in fairness, that usually, because going off of something like the Hunger Games, that's what ruined the Hunger Games for me. Is the first 2 really enjoyed them,
Yep.
but I've still not watched the other 2. Like the
I fell
final 2.
asleep in the last one.
Yeah, just because there's no Hunger Games anymore. I get that
Yeah.
the story's got to develop, and that's the title for the first one and all that. But yeah, I couldn't get through it. I tried for the third one, and I switched off. I got bored.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because you guys don't tell me the questions before we came onto the podcast. So it's
we've got to
kind of
surprise
giving
you.
me, it's
Yeah.
giving me,
You want
it's
natural,
making me
James.
realise my genuine answers to thing rather than like properly thinking them.
What
through.
you want your answers to
And
be.
my favourite franchise, first thing that came into my head was the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
Really?
It was.
But
the
do
first...
you recommend just getting through the other 2 films?
Well,
the third and fourth, yeah.
I agree that the last 2 films, in my opinion, aren't the best.
Yeah.
I have a controversial opinion that the 7th Harry Potter film's the best one. The one where nothing really happens.
I agree.
But
Wait, so the last film?
No.
the
Oh, wait.
Ultimate film.
Never mind. Then. No,
The
you're
like
wrong. You're wrong.
Deathly Hallows Part 1 is one of my favourite ones, because
Is
there's
that
just
unpopular?
like a lot of people.
Oh, maybe
don't
I wouldn't
like
say
it
it's the
because
best,
nothing happens per se, but I just love
Because
the
it's just.
openness.
Well, the thing is, everyone like. 'Cause I remember.
Bobby died, right?
Exactly.
Things happen.
I remember when it came out, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it wasn't great," but then that's just a build up.
Yeah.
To the finale.
It's the
Like,
only
you've
film which
got
doesn't
to-
include Hogwarts as well,
Yeah.
and it's like taking
Very
out. It's
true.
kind of like them in the real world. So
Like, I get why people wouldn't like it, because
Yeah.
obviously everything that you've known from Harry Potter, you're not really seeing. Like something like Hogwarts, you expect to see that in Harry
Yeah,
Potter.
but the way that they executed it was, I
Yeah.
think,
Oh, no,
brilliant.
I still think the 7th one was a good film.
It was a good film. I
and
think they were all good.
the fact it then allowed pretty much the whole of the 8th film to be the Battle of Hogwarts was
Yeah.
just an
Yeah.
amazing idea.
I think the 8th was my favourite.
Yeah.
That and probably the most. I think most people's favourite probably Goblet of Fire. I'd say a lot of.
A lot
of
of
people say
people-
Goblet of Fire.
I always rank that very highly. But
Yeah,
with the Hunger Games, it was the first. I watched the first film, and that inspired me to read the books. And
I've
I
read the
don't really
first
read
book.
books.
I haven't read any
Catching
of them.
Fire is my favourite book, and it was also, again, my favourite film. There are parts of the book which I wish they would have put in the film.
There always is, though, isn't
Yeah,
there, with
that's the
books
thing.
and films?
But Mockingjay, as a book, it's pretty decent. I understand that there's no Hunger Games in it, and like what I think, this is the thing, because like I loved Suzanne Collins so much, because she came up with this whole Hunger Games concept, and once you go in, you shouldn't go back in again. So it's like, how do you make a trilogy out of that? I know, let's do a whole quarter quell thing where existing victors have to go back in, and it's like, oh my god, what a genius!
that was clever, to be
I
fair.
just
I
wish
re-
that she would have
yeah.
put Haymitch in with Katniss, because Peter could have still been kidnapped, and that whole character arc could have still happened in Mockingjay. Spoilers, I'm sorry.
fine.
But
I know what happens.
Spoilers to everyone out there as well.
Spoilers.
Oh,
I'm
God,
sorry.
He's not a spoiler when the film's that old. It
Yeah,
doesn't
no
count.
offense, but if you haven't already watched the Hunger Games,
You're also here
trilogy,
for a film podcast. So.
Yeah.
No, we'll throw a spoiler warning up at the start.
I mean,
fine.
No, don't do it. Ruin the day.
I'm not even sorry. The last film came out like 4 years ago at least by now, probably even longer, so it's your own fault.
You're literally
really.
looking dead down the lens and frowning as well.
No
like,
offense, guys.
you might as well give him the middle finger while you're there, James. Go on.
But yeah, so there's parts of it like you learn about Haymitch's games that he was in. He was in the second quarter quell, which was double the amount of people going to the arena, and like I would have loved for that to have been explored a bit more. But no, they were very much like Katniss. But another trilogy that I also really liked, which I do need to speak about, and again, it's kind of more a I guess more of an artistic sense, just because I think the director's incredible, but the Dark Knight trilogy with
Yes.
Christopher Nolan.
My thing with that is great first film, incredible second film, and they're not a bad third film, but it obviously for obvious reasons.
You're making me change my answer for favourite film ever now.
It just lacked. I felt like the third one, it was just lacking the Joker, and obviously they couldn't put him in, and Tom Hardy did a great job as Bane. But yeah, you just were like, you spent the whole time like, but it's not the Dark Knight
put
anymore.
this in the same field as Shrek 2 and Shrek the Third, where Shrek 2 was cinematic genius. It's, to be honest, if I'm gonna, I know I keep on saying like, oh, favorite film and favorite artistic sort of thing, but Shrek 2 has to be up there with one of like the most amazing films which has ever been created. And I know you asked me a question which we'll probably come back to about Desert Islands, and I know that's going to be in there because Shrek was good. Shrek 2 did everything a sequel ever needs to do.
It brought in a
Shrek the
cat.
Third
My mind's gone
subverted all of
blank
that.
about Shrek 2. It's
It's one with Puss in
It's got
Boots
the
and like the
godmother.
fairy godmother and all
Boots.
that.
It's got
Of
the whole
course.
I need a hero bit at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, like
it had
the I
Mongo.
need a hero scene. The I need a hero scene is one of the most iconic pieces of cinematic history ever.
Which is the one with the kid who goes, "Da-da-rah."
That's the last
That's
one.
a-
We don't talk about that one.
No, but that scene's amazing.
Yeah, I
I
would
love
watch
you,
the whole
Daddy.
film just for that 20-second section. Like, it was the only good thing about it, and they like milked it in the trailer and everything. Like, there was teasers about that before.
I don't think I could watch that film. I don't think I could watch that scene too many times.
I've seen the fourth one. It's not great. But yeah, like
They're making another one. They've got a new one coming out.
Yeah, they are.
Shrek the Fifth.
They just don't know when to. DreamWorks have done this quite a few times.
best
They just don't know
thing
when to let a franchise
That
end.
came from the Shrek franchise was the fact they released a Christmas special and called it Shrek the Halls.
Yes.
I didn't watch it, but I love the
I
title.
watched it.
I don't
Is
think
it
I've
any
watched
good?
It
yeah,
was
no.
just Shrek on Christmas, but I could just watch Shrek 2 instead.
Going back to
Very
like
true.
Harry Potter and the Hunger Games, and what we were saying about splitting the last one into two films, worked so well for Harry Potter. They absolutely smashed it. But the only problem with it was it spawned so many other book and film franchises doing that didn't need it done. Hunger Games, Twilight.
Yeah.
Did 50 Shades of Grey do it? I don't know.
They've got 3 or 4.
I've never
films
seen a
out
single
there.
one.
Enough for that.
Yeah.
I've seen the
One
first
film was
one,
enough.
and it was fucking terrible.
I haven't seen it.
I've
because
never watched any
I
of
am
them.
not a middle-aged woman who's trying to get aroused at the cinema.
I'd find that
with
well
a teenage
awkward.
shade.
God, I hope they don't bring another one out while I'm working at the cinema. I don't want to clean those screens.
Don't want to clean them seats.
Nasty.
But yeah, because that's originally what Avengers 3 and 4 was going to be. Like originally when they announced it, it was Avengers Infinity War Part
Part 1
1
and 2.
and Part 2. I don't think they actually changed the films. They've just changed the titles.
Yeah, because they announced
they're in the end game
phase
now.
3
Yeah.
pretty much at the same time as Harry Potter and Twilight and Hunger Games. And it was all these, I don't know, the Divergent series didn't do very well
yeah.
in the end, did it? But
They did a Part 1 and
split-
Part 2,
not
didn't
seen
they?
it.
Did they do a two-parter ending? Because to be honest, I feel like they didn't even have the budget to at the end.
No,
because
I
the
think-
first two films were such a flop.
I've not
Yeah.
even seen the. Is there 3 Maze Runner films?
I know
yes.
that there's.
I've only seen
I
the
think
first.
there's only
There's
currently
at least
2.
3. No,
I
there
I
is
know
3.
there should be. Wait, I know it's a trilogy, but have they done the third film?
I'm sure. That,
I think it came out, yeah. I don't know. Look it up.
Really? But it's like
um,
Percy Jackson when they was doing the Percy Jackson films. They did the first one, waited a millennium to do the second one because the first one did so bad. The second one did even worse. So now they're just like, okay, we'll give up on that. And I read all the Percy Jackson books, so I know there's about 7 different films they could make, but they know they're doing them so badly that they just gave up, and I respect them for that because they're just going to be losing out on money otherwise. So
yeah, there is 3.
there is 3. Yeah, I thought there was. Because I saw
Yeah,
the
it's
second
Scorch,
one,
Maze Runner,
Scorch
Trials,
Trials.
and then the Death
Death Cure.
That's cool.
Yeah,
I've only seen the
'cause-
first one.
Because I think
First
it was
one was amazing.
yeah,
though, to be fair. It was
really good. But I think it was the third one where Dylan O'Brien really hurt himself. Like he had to be rushed to hospital doing a
Oh, really?
stunt. Like yeah, I think he like nearly broke his back or something. I don't know. But
Long pause.
I don't know.
Bit of dead
Completely
silence
blank
I
there.
don't know, but I don't know.
Sorry, I'll cut all this.
Anticipation for that, then. Like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Dead silence about 10 seconds. You have to go. I don't know.
Thank you for coming back into the studio with us.
Forgotten what the actual topic we were talking about was.
Franchises.
Oh, franchises, yeah. Yeah, we discussed that. We've also
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
yeah.
We could put a line under that now. Moving on.
Least. Oh no, okay. Maybe not. Because not many people will have a least favorite film. I don't think, but maybe a film that you wanted to be really good, but wasn't. And I'm asking this right now, hoping you guys will have an answer because I have no clue.
I know what you mean. Like I've been to see things and like I've bought games and stuff,
Oh,
especially
got
where it's
one,
like a
got one.
sequel where you really want it to be good, you really want to like it, but it's just like
I have an answer.
it's just
I've got an
not,
answer.
is it? What's yours?
Right. And you're both gonna say, "Oh, everyone knew it'd be shit anyway." But Grown Ups 2.
I didn't watch any of them.
I watched Grown Up, the first Grown Ups film, so many times, and then Grown Ups 2 came out, and it was the most garbage film you'll ever watch in your life. It is awful. Have you seen it?
No.
Don't watch it.
I'm not
Like-
gonna watch the first one.
Not, yeah, it's not.
You've
the
not
sort
watched
of
the first
film
one?
that I-
No.
Oh, the first one. The first
I
one's
don't
good.
I really don't like Adam Sandler.
Oh, that's
Oh,
my
is it
own
Adam
popular
Sandler?
opinion. My own popular opinion is Adam Sandler's not that bad. I've got another one. I won't say the one just yet, but
We can move on to unpopular opinions if you want.
all right. Adam Sandler's not that bad.
Oh, I'm shocked.
No,
No, he is. He is. No, Click was good. I enjoyed Click.
Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison.
I've not
Grown
seen any
Ups
of them.
1.
Jack
Not
and
seen them.
Jill.
Jack
Jack and Jill.
See, I went to the cinema with my mum to watch that, and I made her go and watch it. So I was like, "Oh, it's Adam Sandler." I was like, because I loved the Waterboy. You ever seen Waterboy?
No.
No. Oh,
No.
that is amazing.
That's the other thing. When I say I don't like Adam Sandler, I feel like I've only seen bits of his work.
No,
You
I've
need to
seen
watch
enough
his
of
old
his
stuff.
work. I've seen
you
enough.
need
of
to watch
his
his
work.
old stuff though, like Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore, The Waterboy, Grown Ups 1, all that. They were amazing when I was growing up. I can still watch
my
them
thing
now
is though,
and
like I can't even be like, oh, I don't like silly comedy because Jim Carrey is one of my favorite
Yeah.
actors, and he perfected silly comedy. Which reminds me, that's another unpopular opinion we got sent in when we asked for. Matty hates Ace Ventura, thinks it's awful.
Oh, I disagree.
Everyone else disagrees. Those films are incredible.
Who sent that in?
Matty,
Never speak to me again.
yeah, he's not coming on this podcast.
I'm just still.
He's meant to be on it next week as
know.
well.
I'm just still kind of like hung on the fact that you paid money to go and watch an Adam Sandler film, because why bother to pay money? Because they're going to be on airplanes 2 months late. 2 months
Mate,
later.
he went to see Pixels on midnight release.
Oh, you are lying. That is going to be.
That is a
lunacy.
lie. I watched it on Netflix.
That
Oh,
was
you've
like
actually seen
the
it?
worst
Yeah.
rated films ever.
Joel.
It's got Peter Dinklage in as well. That's like, thank God he's in Game
He's
of Thrones.
better than
Otherwise,
that.
his credit would be awful now.
In Infinity War as well.
Pixels was the pinnacle of what Peter Dinklage could do as an actor.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
I can happily say I've never seen it, but also you never know. It could turn into another The Room situation where it becomes a cinematic masterpiece in
definitely
20
won't.
years'
No,
time.
it
No,
won't.
it's so
Definitely
bad.
Who were the main four? It was Adam Sandler, Peter Dinklage.
What, in what, Pixels?
Yeah, I swear there's like a group of four that are the ones that have to do it all. I don't know.
Mate,
No one cares.
it was a
no
long
one
time
knows.
ago, and you're right, it was Dog. But I had an okay time watching it.
Yeah.
Go
I
on.
was going to say my film unpopular opinion is there's kind of like two in one. It's like you mentioned earlier, I don't like Tarantino films. I think they're too long, and they're really self-indulgent. Like I think particularly recently, he's got to the point where he's like, I'm Tarantino. I'll make a film. Everyone will watch it. So he just makes them longer than they need to be. Like the only one I've ever watched the whole way through is Django Unchained, and that's because I saw it in the cinema,
Oh,
so I
that's
couldn't
amazing.
turn it
Django
off.
Unchained is my favorite.
Speak-
Tarantino
Say
Both
it,
Pulp
Scott.
Fiction, both Reservoir Dogs. I've tried to watch them, and I get to a certain point where I'm like,
Pulp Fiction's great. I've
I
never
just
seen
get to a
Reservoir
point where I'm
Dogs,
not
but Pulp
enjoying it
Fiction's
anymore
great.
and turn it off.
I've watched Pulp Fiction. I've watched Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, and
I've seen The Hateful Eight.
Inglorious
Any bastards.
B words.
We've been saying worse than that. It's fine.
But
Oh,
I'll bleep it. It's fine.
Inglorious B words is incredibly
Like,
good.
yeah, that's like a kind of two unpopular opinions in one. Sometimes I would rather watch a dumb comedy than an Oscar bait film.
Oh, I completely agree.
No,
Yeah.
I've not watched
I
any
can
of the
agree
Oscar
with
bait films
that.
this year.
Well,
Okay, I don't think I should say Oscar bait, because that usually Oscar bait film means a film that wanted to be Oscar worthy
The
but
Greatest
wasn't.
Showman.
Incredible. It was the
Really
greatest
good
film.
It was so Oscar bait.
No, it wasn't. It didn't win any
that's the thing.
Oscars.
Exactly, because everyone was like, Oscar bait, so they just
It
everybody
wasn't
boycotted
Oscar
it.
bait. It was fun. Oscar bait films aren't fun.
It was coming off the success of La La Land. I have a very...
Well, that was one of my talking points, the fact that we've had some really great film musicals recently.
I guess
Well,
that's one of my unpopular opinions. Greatest Showman isn't that good.
That is very unpopular.
You made me hate you a little bit.
La La Land is 10 times better than The Greatest Showman, but
La
everybody...
La La Land's a better film.
La La- yeah.
100% is a better film.
But The Greatest
I had
Showman's
more-
soundtrack
I
is
had
better.
more fun watching The Greatest Showman.
Great Showman's not that
Unpopular
long.
opinion, Hugh Jackman's voice irritates me when he sings. Is that the one who plays
yeah.
in The Greatest Showman?
Yeah,
He's
the main.
in Les Mis as well, and he's all like...
I've never seen Les Mis.
And I'm just like...
Don't bother. Waste of time.
The thing is, that's an unpopular opinion, though, 'cause
Yeah, I know.
everyone tells me to watch Les Mis, saying it's amazing, but I can't be
My
honest.
thing was, the soundtrack is really good, like incredible. Just the storyline and film was too long and just a bit meh.
What's that, La La Land?
No, Les Mis.
Oh, well, I mean, Les Mis, it was a musical before it ever
Yeah.
went onto screen. And I will say, I think it was Tom Hooper who directed it. I will say the way that he reworked some scenes, because Anne Hathaway sings "I Dreamed a Dream" a bit later on in the musical. She loses her job and sings "I Dreamed a Dream," and it's quite sentimental and cute and stuff. But Tom Hooper, I shouldn't really be saying that, but the director, I'm pretty sure his name's Tom Hooper, moves it back a bit. So you've seen Les Mis, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she
Once.
Anne Hathaway she loses her job. Well, Fantine loses her job.
Spoilers.
And then she
Spoilers.
ends up working on working in prostitution, basically. And she's completely lost everything. She's sold some of her teeth for money. She's cut all of her hair off for money. And she's a prostitute for money, and she hates it. And you see this really broken character starting to sing "I Dreamed a Dream," and it's all filmed in one take. Another unpopular opinion there. Anne Hathaway deserved that Oscar because she won Best Actress for that, and everybody hated her for it.
I didn't know that was unpopular.
But
It's just the way he's got into a proper rant. And he's
Unpopular
still close to the
opinion.
mic and everything. Like, unpopular.
but so many people like, oh my god, she won Best Actress for like 5 minutes of screen time. I don't care if you had 2 hours of screen time. If you cannot give me what she
Say it
gave
to the
me,
camera.
if you
Tell the
cannot give
audience.
me what Anne Hathaway gave me in 5 minutes of Les Mis,
What did she
then you
give you?
do not deserve.
How
an
does she make you
Oscar.
feel?
She breaks you. I mean, this is the thing. I'm very particular about when I watch a film with actors. I don't want to see. I mean, this is where I didn't want to get into acting because of the same reason. I don't want to see the actor. I want to see the character, and I want to feel the emotions that the character is feeling at that point. And it's even harder to do when you're singing a song because you're having to. There's already a barrier in how you're supposed to say things because you're singing them instead. And I mean, you can just type in on YouTube, "I Dreamed a Dream," Anne Hathaway, and the scene will come up, and it's all one take.
I think I've seen the scene.
There's one moment where it's she blinks and a tear falls down her eye.
Yes,
And based on what she's just singing at that point, it's that's a happy accident for a director, which is just the director at that point must have thought this is Oscar gold.
See, I've worked on films, and when you get those moments, the hardest thing about it is not shouting or anything, not reacting behind the camera and ruining the take.
Because
Sorry,
you know after because I film we've filmed films on our course and everything.
I filmed
You
a film.
know when you've done a good take, you can tell just after you filmed a scene and you yell cut and you're just that is going to be.
I was going to say,
incredible.
I did directing partially.
Did
yeah.
you?
Come on, yeah, kind of. So first year and second, obviously the second year one was a bit more intense. Didn't really enjoy that too. I enjoyed filming. I didn't enjoy everything else. But no, in first year, there was a film that you were in,
Yeah.
and it was we had to film a car hitting someone scene, and it went out. It went
Yeah, I
quite
was happy
well.
with that.
We didn't actually. Well,
We didn't hit anyone with a car.
We didn't hit anyone with a car. We could have done. But I remember we filmed it, and it looked really good when I was watching it happen, and I didn't ruin the take. But whilst we were still recording, all you can hear is me going, fucking yes. And luckily, the scene had ended at this point, so it didn't ruin the tape. But
That's one of my favourite things as editor is like when you've got all the footage going through and just some of the gems you find of the behind the scenes
you've got
stuff.
so many.
Yeah, I've got some great ones for the film we're making at the moment. But James, do you have any unpopular film opinions you want to air?
You like 6
Any more?
But I did have one before I went onto my massive rant. Yeah. I feel like you're going to completely disagree with me on this one because I feel like I'm almost attacking you with it. Naturalism is ruining superhero films. That's my big one.
What do you mean?
Because superheroes, like when you take it back to the comic books, it's very vibrant colors. It's big and it's loud, and you've got the pow and boom. I forget the name of the like terminology for that, but it's like everything's like they're out of this world characters, which have all these amazing abilities. And I feel like the MCU, like I love all the films. Before disclaimer, I love all the MCU films, but I feel like the color schemes are very, very muted to start off with. There's no vibrancy in them. They are making all of the heroes so human in a sense that they're trying to make them relatable to the audience, I guess, but that makes you lose, like, it makes me feel like they're almost a little bit weaker than what they actually are, because it's like, stop trying to make me feel emotionally connected to Captain America like I could be him, and show me and remind me the superhero that he is. Yeah. Thor is a god, and you're giving me like a love plot storyline to try and follow around with. Fair enough, but he is a god. He's like insanely powerful.
I felt like Ragnarok's a film that
it kind of saved Thor as a character.
I don't think there was. Maybe no. I was going to say Ragnarok's one that I think is the best film to disagree with the naturalism thing, because they did go for the whole he is a god, and even when he came to like Earth, it was with Doctor Strange, who was constantly making.
My only thing I'd counter argument yours with is you said your favorite film series is the Dark Knight trilogy, and they were very much they weren't superhero films. They were good films that happened to have superheroes in them. Like they were a kind of imagining of Batman in the real world.
Yeah.
So why do you love them if you're now saying that superhero films shouldn't be real and natural?
I'd guess Batman as a superhero and as a character. I mean, Batman isn't a Greek god.
I was going to say Batman's trait is he's got loads of money.
Yeah, Batman's trait is his.
You're saying that as someone who's only seen the Dark Knight trilogies. If you actually look at like some of the stuff he's done in the comics, and like I think there is a storyline recently of he becomes omniscient. Like he gets some kind of power that he can just see and know everything all at once. Well, like he does ridiculous things, and that's the point of his character, is that he's human, but he can still like fight and battle with all the big guys.
But then I would argue that maybe I like them as much as I do in comparison to the MCU, is because Christopher Nolan executed that very well.
Yeah.
And I just feel like Spider-Man got bit by a spider, Thor is a Norse god. Like these are some very, very big characters, out of this world personalities. Whereas with Bruce Wayne and Batman, it's he lost his parents and he made this persona with all of his with his finances and everything, and it's kind of he is only a superhero because he kind of made himself one out of money sort of thing. And I think that's the difference. Like you can go more naturalistic with Batman in a sense, because you don't need to try and make me believe that he isn't human, because his whole arc there is he is a human who's done this to himself. But when you're trying to convince me that this Norse god is like subpar in strength with just a man who can against Tony Stark is like a man who's just makes stuff out of his money as well, I guess it's just like I don't know if I can believe that. I don't know if I can believe that a god is equally as powerful as just a human who can make metal suits.
Yeah. But speaking of Batman, that reminds me, another unpopular opinion we had sent in was from Harry, who was on the podcast last week, and he said Batman vs Superman is a good film.
No,
right.
Seen it.
I really like it, and I think part of the reason I liked it so much was because I heard all these negative reviews saying it was awful and that, and I then went to watch it with that opinion, like, oh, this is going to be bad, but I'll see it anyway. And I actually really enjoyed it. And I think the big problem with it was it became popular to hate it, and then it was marketed badly.
Yeah, I will agree. The marketing of it was terrible.
Everyone was like a big complaint is, oh, but it's called Batman vs Superman. They barely fight. It shouldn't have been called Batman vs Superman. I think if they just called it Dawn of Justice, which is what it was a setup for the Justice League, people would have enjoyed it more. And they just, I think because it started to get negative like stigmas before it even came out. They panicked and started throwing stuff out. And in the trailers, it revealed that both Wonder Woman and not Darkseid, Doomsday were in the film.
Yeah.
And I think that it stole moments from the film that would have been incredible. Like if no one had known Wonder Woman was going to be there, and she just went boom and popped up,
That's what I
it
was
would have been an
just gonna
incredible
say.
moment.
Imagine if Wonder Woman just comes into it and you're like, But I feel like there's a heavy reliance for some studios to put the best parts of the film into the trailer.
Some
Marvel have been bad for
fully
that.
ruined. Like I said this a few days ago to you, didn't I? About I've still not seen it, but Jurassic World 2 had so many big there's literally I'm sure in the trailer there's a bit where a dinosaur is running straight at him, looks like he's about to get him, and you should cut there. Have the dinosaur running at him so it leaves you on edge of like, what's gonna happen now? Is he gonna get to him? Is he not? But then the trailer showed the dinosaur gets about this close and then something wipes it out.
Yeah, the
like,
T-Rex.
What?
Yeah,
I don't need to watch it now.
I
Right.
don't need to spend money.
Jurassic
to
World
watch
2
this
wasn't.
film now.
It wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. It's just
It
What
just-
a bit nothing.
just 'cause we've not got loads of time. What
Of course, yeah.
just- what other unpopular opinions you got sent, and we'll say whether we agree or not.
My friend Aiden, and this is one I agree with, said that Die Hard is a Christmas film. And I agree with
Oh.
that. I think it is.
Here's an unpopular life choice. I've never seen Die Hard.
No,
Me neither.
it's good.
Oh, okay, it's not that unpopular.
Oh, it's good. Like I think it definitely suffers a bit from everyone being like, "Oh, Die Hard, it's great," but it is good. It is a good film. But a lot of people say it's not a Christmas film. I disagree with that because I was having this conversation last night. If you define because my girlfriend defined a Christmas film as a film that is about Christmas, and I'm like, well, it's set at a Christmas party. The only reason all these characters are there is because it's at a Christmas party where then like terrorists start attacking and that. And she was like, yeah, but like it's not about Christmas. I was like, well, is Love Actually a Christmas film? She went, yeah. And I went, very few of those storylines are actually about
yeah.
Christmas, but it's a classic Christmas film.
Yeah.
If it's set at Christmas and has things to do about Christmas, it's a Christmas film. And I agree that Die Hard should count as a Christmas film.
I remember it wasn't sent to me, but someone said it a few days ago, and I'm going to out them on air. Ellie Straker Stroud said that Grown Ups 2 was a really good film. That she'd actually really enjoyed it. And that's the most silly thing anyone's ever said in their entire life. You've not seen the film,
I've not
but
seen
just
it, so I
know
can't weigh in.
it's a bad opinion. It's an awful opinion.
I think we've covered unpopular opinions enough. Should we move on to our weekly what ifs?
Oh, I've not even
You've
got
not
one.
got Joel.
What if Margot Robbie walks in the room right now?
I'd ask if she wanted to join the podcast. There, cool.
I'd say that
Great. Thanks for being
Iton's-
prepared for this episode, Joel. I really appreciate the hard work you put into this.
I'm Joel Vatton. Thank you for listening.
I say that I, Tanya, is some of the best work that I've seen her do.
Not seen it.
Not seen it.
I disagree.
we are.
Suicide Squad.
She was good in Suicide Squad. Though.
She was like-
she
the
was like a
performances are
saving. She
fine.
was a saving grace in
yeah,
that
no,
film.
I completely agree.
Right.
I'd say like the best part of Suicide Squad was her.
DC's,
Her and Will Smith.
Yeah.
Really
No,
enjoyed him.
behave.
DC's film problems do not lie in the performances. No one gives a bad performance, maybe Jared Leto, in those films. It comes
didn't even
from the
think he was that
directing.
bad.
And it's awful.
No, but I
It's
agree
so
with you there.
awful.
I agree with you because
Yeah.
you're getting good actors in to do a good acting job, and it is annoying that it's going to start affecting some of the actors' careers because the films are bad. Because it's not just the acting which is important in a film; it's the editing, it's the actual narrative, and to be honest, the editors and the director have a big say so in how the narrative is told.
Yeah.
Like with reality TV, it is all manipulated by what like arcs the editors and directors want to go with it. But I completely agree.
Did either of you
Amazing
see Justice
actors.
League?
Nope.
No.
No.
It's
I've just kind
a
of
mess of a film.
basically since The Dark Knight Rises, I've not watched a single DC film. I don't
You
think.
know,
Wonder Woman was very
Wonder
good.
Woman's good.
I've seen
Aquaman's really good.
I think you guys
Yeah.
are watching it, and I came in halfway through Wonder Woman.
Yeah, you don't like watching films in our house, though, do you?
Do I fuck? No,
Why
I don't.
not?
Because you have this.
I was about to say, you'll agree with
me and you
this.
have the exact same like opinion on this. Is we can't watch a film as a group because people talk,
Yeah.
and
I'm
I'm not okay with that.
It
It's
really
not-
annoys me.
it's a
They're
great-
either on their phone, so they're talking, and it's like, we agreed to watch a film. Watch it.
It's a great atmosphere to rewatch films with, but it's not good for watching
Should we,
films.
should we
for the first
retitle
time.
the podcast as like just bitch about the people you live with?
Yeah.
And we can do another hour right now. You get a 2-hour special.
But
Uh,
I remember last year we watched Get Out together, and
Oh, see, this is a film, right? And I stayed upstairs because you guys are watching it. I was like, I refused because it's what I've really, really enjoyed Get Out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's about halfway through the film, and I was like, "Oh no, I can't. I need to go watch the rest of it." And it was the worst half an hour of my life because people just kept talking, trying to predict things. One of our housemates even Googled, "When does the dog die?"
Oh my
Spoiler: the dog doesn't fucking die.
That reminds me, like, Get Out. I heard this a while ago, and I was like, oh, I need to remember to tell Joel about this because you love Get Out. I saw it's one of these little things where it's like you find this out about the film. It's like, oh, that's really cool. Like another appreciation for that they've made it. So you remember, like, right near the start, there's a thing where they hit the deer.
Yes.
On the road.
On the way to the house.
Yeah, and she has no problem getting out and putting it down. It's like, oh, well, she's from a hunting family. And then you get to the house, and there's like deers and antlers all over the house, very much emphasizing that he's a hunter.
Mm-hmm.
And then right at the end, the way he gets out is he escapes by stabbing the guy with the antlers of the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's another little bit. You know, the male deer is called a buck.
Mm-hmm.
Buck was also a racial slur against black people. Like, I don't know if it was like the 50s or 60s. So that's another thing. Like, she's got no problem killing deers, i.e. bucks, black people. Dave, like, hunted and killed all these deers, bucks, black people. That's not me using the slur. That's me saying that's what they were going for with that whole thing. I was like, that's so incredible. Like, little things like that you don't realise the director and writers have put in.
Yeah. And it's,
Just
again,
love
it's like
stuff like that.
subtext there, which, like, because that's one of my things about film. It's like subtext, yes, amazing when it's in there and it's used effectively. But I've worked on films in the past at uni where subtext has been the main focus and you lose subtext then. But something like that, the film makes sense without it.
Yeah. It adds
but
to...
knowing it adds another layer to the film. And I think that's when subtext is used.
Speaking of working on films, that brings nicely into my weekly what if, which I did prepare, Joel.
I was prepared.
So you're a director, you're an actor.
Inspiring.
Would you rather have a successful film career, but you can never watch a single film again, or have 3 movies for the rest of your life, like DVDs, Blu-ray, cinema, but you will never work on a single film again?
I'd rather work on the films.
I'd rather work on
and never watch a single film. You've got to film them, but you can never watch what you've created.
Yeah,
TV shows, mate.
There's some actors who will argue that they never want to watch films that they've done.
Yeah, but you can't watch anything. You can never watch a single film, and you can't rewatch films. Like, you'll never be able to watch Lion King or Harry Potter again.
No, honestly, it's all imprinted in my memory anyway.
Yeah. In fairness with me, it sounds, as a media student, it's going to sound very stupid, but I don't really sit and watch that many films. Like, but the films that I do watch are ones that I've seen before. So like Netflix, because obviously when I'm watching a film, it's usually like before I go to bed or something, I'll just put a film on Netflix and have it on the background. But unless I go to the cinema, I don't really see anything new.
Oh, see, I love going to the cinema.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. I love going to the cinema, but unless I go to the cinema, I don't really watch anything new.
Yeah.
So all I'd really be doing is cutting the cinema out of my life.
Yeah.
Because other than that, I only really watch TV shows anyway.
I don't think I could do it. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'd love to work on films and that, but I don't think I could never watch another film, and I don't think I could never rewatch some of the films I love. Like, watching films is such a big part of my life.
Staying on part of everyone's lives, arguably.
Staying on this topic of like what we're doing at uni and stuff. What's your favourite thing you've worked on? Either directing, acting, editing. What's your favourite thing you've worked on in uni so far? Because mine,
I think we're gonna have the same answer here.
I really enjoyed Video Project last year.
Yeah,
Just
I did.
We did a 20-minute comedy
17.
film, 17-minute comedy film. But we're not wrapped yet, but we're very close to wrapping on one now, which we're going to talk a lot about on the next podcast. And that's all about like male mental health. I had a lot of fun on that. Not going to say anything else.
We've made. I'm really proud of that film, and I think it's going to be really good when it's finished.
Yeah. Well, I won't say any more on it just because we'll do that next week.
Next week. James, what about you? What's your favourite?
I think it's the film that I've most recently just done. It's a 3-minute short film.
Vanilla Macchiato.
Vanilla Macchiato. It's
you have because student films, one of the big problems I've got with student films is they always try to go very artsy, and I feel that's where you'll get a lot of problems coming in. And that's what we found out with Video Project last year. Was certain films tried to go above and beyond, and I think right now we've not got even the facility, because we don't have a budget really. Like, you can't really get the facilities to have these incredibly beautiful shots, but you had one that you showed us all, and like we were I was gonna say in awe, but for a student film, definitely all one shot, and You can describe it better than me because it was your shot.
Is it
But
the one taking the part?
oh yeah,
Yeah.
and it was
So
incredible.
I wanted to challenge myself with the film, and I wanted like a visual separation between reality and like the dream without giving many spoilers away. But there's a scene which is filmed in a park, and as a director, I wanted to be like, right, okay, I want this all in one take. But how do I get it in one take if I'm setting it in 2 different days and a lot of time has passed? So then you have to think creatively about it, and you think, right, well, the camera is the audience's eye, so what am I going to let the audience see as opposed to what's going on behind it? So I have my actors walking down in one scene, and as soon as the camera leaves them, it's just focusing on some trees, and there's no audio in this bit, so you can't hear what's going on behind the camera. But the camera's just moving from looking at some trees before it comes back down, and at this point, I'm like, right, okay, actors, get changed now. And get that posture and move it over there.
So what they see looks incredible, but if you could hear what he was saying,
it was just like, right, okay, let's go. We got to do this quick. Camera's almost over. Get to that posture now.
Did you put it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube, yeah. So feel free to.
I was going to say, if you send us the link, we'll
throw a link
leave
in the
link
description.
there.
Yeah, but I mean,
so people get this far through the podcast. If you can listen to us for a full hour. Vanilla macchiato.
Spend an extra 3
Vanilla
minutes
macchiatos at the end,
something.
boys. Come on.
But yeah, it's definitely the project that I mean, I was director. It went from an idea in my head to a script to a production to an edited film, and it's something that I'm very proud to say that I've done. I think it shows, because the one thing that I learned from Video Project last year is, again, like what I said a bit earlier on, is subtext. It's good. But when you focus too hard on it, and our Video Project last year was so subtext heavy that you lost the actual plot at some point. So there was subtextual details which were implemented but weren't like concluded. So the audience didn't even know what was happening. So with this film, it was like narrative based, very, very like, I mean, it's a simple narrative to follow. There's a little bit of a like twist at the end.
But one thing with student films, a lot of the time, is because they are only short films most of the time. And people will go for such an intense plot or a really like, just you've got a lot to do within 5 minutes that people kind of sit there and go like, but then you watch it all and you're like, so what actually happened?
Yeah.
Whereas you did have the idea of a fairly simple plot, but then with all these shots and the way you filmed it, like you know exactly what's happening the entire way through. And by the end of it, you're not sat there at the end thinking, so what was the point of it all?
Yeah,
like you know exactly what's going on. You know exactly why.
Yeah, and that's one thing that I think I've learned over my 3 years at university. Like I was successful with a pitch, and I'm just about to make a 15-minute short film, and that one's very narrative driven with some like subtextual things which we're going to throw in like in Get Out, where it's in there for people who want it, but we don't rely on it from the
Oh
part,
yeah, like if you don't get it, you don't get it. If you do, incredible.
Yeah, I'm excited to work that one out. Though.
Yeah, on that note, we've all got some very exciting projects coming up, which I'm sure you'll all see in the future. But for now, we're going to have to say thanks for listening and goodbye. We'll see you again next week. Thanks again for coming on the show, James.
Cheers,
really
James.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.